it's Ina here, and in today's chat time I thought of showing you some projects which for one reason or another did not make it into my videos. Now most of these things I've done this year, but there's one I did last year, and I actually did this one in preparation for making a journal where I wanted to use this foil technique, and I did make that journal, and there will be a link below in case you want to check it out. So here you use foil, simple kitchen foil. You add all kinds of fun dimensional items underneath it, and you mold it all around it. And I think the molding worked really well on this one. I love the way the chain came out. It's super clear. Now it does take time. You have to really use a pointed little instrument. I used Q-tip actually because it's pointed, but it's not sharp because you do not want to poke the foil, and it takes a little while to mold it all around the little details, but it's fun. And then you add black paint and rub it off, and you get this kind of metal looking effect. Now when I was all done and it was all ready, I realized I wasn't crazy about the shape of this frame, so I didn't do any more detailing. This is just a magazine image, and well, maybe eventually it will hang outdoors somewhere. But anyway, it was a good practice run, and this is a very fun technique to use. And of course you can use it for boxes or books. You can use it for mirrors or picture frames. Lots of possibilities. So next I worked on these two canvases. Let's see if you can see them all the way from bottom to top. Yeah. So here I wanted to do a little bit of a travel theme, and I had two craft papers. One had an Eiffel Tower on it and one the Big Ben, and they were a bit faded in the background, which I liked. So I added those. I added bits and pieces of music sheets, script paper, all kinds of stuff. And then these main images here are actually stamped images on tissue paper, and they're a bit of that steampunk style. I also added some ephemera here and here, both a little bit related to the country. These are all English because of the Big Ben. These are little French advertisement to fit with Paris. And then I added the words. Those were stenciled on. And of course there's more stenciling going on, and there's lots of paint here and there, shading and distressing, and I added black to the edges here. And yeah, that's it. So it says enjoy each moment, and here it says memories are created. So a couple of traveling themed not journals, sorry, canvases. And then I did this one here. Now this is done on a canvas board, and it was inspired by an art prompt which was happening that week called Material or Fabric. And after I finished my little art journal page, I was inspired to use it on a bigger project. So this is all fabric, no paper, a couple of turquoise, different designed fabric. It goes into the green, and this is a piece of batik. And then I ripped these darker pieces to imitate trees or stems. And then these flowers, they were decoration pieces. They came in a long strip with two flowers in a row. Not really sure where I got this from. But I treated the whole page as a mixed media project, as it all has paint on it. I did blending with paint. I did stamping. There's some script stamp. There are some circles I did with the top of a bottle. There's some stenciling going on over here. And then of course the butterflies. Now those were cut out from material which happened to have that design. And to start with, I glued them flat to the background, but then thought I needed some more dimension. So I added a second one, and I stiffened it by using a lot of gel medium. And after it was dry, I added it to it, and it was still a bit too floppy. So for it to stand up, I added some simple beads underneath it here, and they all have a couple, and it keeps it a little more three-dimensional. I also added the little chain here, and of course there are some metal gears, some beads. And then the edging was done with black dimensional paint, which comes in a little tube, so you have a little control over it. And I really enjoyed doing this. And actually, I have footage for this, but I had filmed it with my camera, which up to now I have not been able to have it work with my editing program. So maybe eventually I get it moving, and you may yet see the process of this one sometime in the future. So that's this. And then just recently, excuse me, I started working, oops, wait a minute. It goes this way. All right, so I don't get mixed up. So just recently I started working with pours, and they are so much fun. Basically, you add a pouring medium to acrylic paints, or you can mix pigment powders, which I did here. This is a combination of plain acrylic paints and pigment powders, and also some vivid metallic paints. And then you pour it in a nice color combination. You elevate these and let it all, the excess, drip off. And actually it looks quite different when it's dry than when it's in its wet state, because it keeps moving about. The very liquidy paint will keep creating new designs. I did use a little toothpick to pull things up and out a bit. That's how these big squirrels were started. And yet there's very little control you have over something like this. But I think they came out so cool. Let me see if you can see all the detailing on it. Now this was one of those things where I could have kicked myself because I did not have the camera rolling. I didn't think it would come out so well because this was my first try. But anyway, here it is, and I really like it, and I would definitely like to make more of these. So now another thing I have done, which did not make it on my channel yet, are of course art journal pages. But those you will see as I do flip-throughs of my completed art journals, so I won't get into those now. Another thing I did, in the beginning of the year, I announced that I would make a project where I would add images every week to a big canvas. I don't know if you remember. Anyway, I have been faithfully working on it, and it is really big, so it doesn't fit under this setup of filming. But I will add a photo at the end just so you can see that I'm actually doing it. And of course, it's nowhere completed because the year isn't up. And at the end, when the year is over, I will give you a very close, detailed look at it. Okay, that's it. There'll be some photos coming up. Thank you so much for joining me. And by the way, I want to thank all of you for following my art on my channel, for giving me such nice and encouraging comments. I really appreciate it. So, thanks for coming today. Come and see me soon again. Bye bye for now.